What is up, guys? Welcome back to Apex Alchemy. It is me alone here today. I want to talk to you about some Spydercos, and Courtney wanted to set it out because she thinks they all look the same. Today I just want to kind of talk to you about the collection that we have, and as far as when I say we have them, this is my son's knife. My wife's got a couple, or at least one, and there's going to be a couple in here that belong to my brother as well that I just have possession of right now. I'm going to introduce them to you from smallest to largest as far as blade length goes, or I'm going to try to. I probably will mess up. That's okay. Listen, it's really crazy that Courtney feels like Spyderco is really boring. And all the blades look the same, and they're not very innovative. This is her T15, Rex T15, Spyderco Mule Team. That is 34. Mule Team 34. We're just going to clean this off real quick because it is absolutely the dirtiest knife in the house. And the reason why that is because it's the one that she works with the most. And it would appear that she has epoxy. She makes her own micarta. It would appear that she has epoxy on the blade, so we may actually have to get some, acetone or acetylene. Right now we're just going to spray some WD-40 on here and hope for the best. But Courtney is not the pillar of knife care, but you will never find a dirtier knife around the house after Courtney uses it than a Spyderco. And to me, that just attests, to the point that they might not be the prettiest knives in design, but even the people that don't like the looks of them, and we'll have to get some acetone on that blade for a very short period of time, because I don't know what kind of chemical reaction that'll have with the Rex 45. But it's just one of those paradigms, or paradoxes, or oxymorons, or whatever you want to call it. Not crazy about Spyderco because they make ugly knives, and boom, it's the one that gets the most use. Okay, so this first knife, it does belong to my brother. To my son, Michael, and my brother's name is Michael as well. He uses this to cut up pancakes more than anything else. And you can tell it has no action. Got pancake syrup, it's just in it. It's okay. It's his knife. He can do whatever he wants to do with it. He doesn't get very many opportunities to abuse. So that's his PM2. We did a Rockwell test on that. I think it come in at 58, 59 area, something like that. Videos a couple days ago. You're gonna check that out. But I like the Para 3. It's a really good size knife for a small utility folder. It does fit excellent in the hand, as does the next knife that's coming up. We'll talk about that now. This is a Golden Colorado. We'll set it over here to the side. Hopefully I can keep them all in frame, but we do have 11 knives here, so maybe not. We'll see how it goes. The Little Temperance. I got this off of Nick Edward. I may have gotten it a little dirty, but myself. Little Temperance K390, and it's made in Seki City, Japan. And again, it's just for a small utility knife. I do like the Little Temperance, and I like the Little Temperance better than I like the Para 3 personally. It's got a wider leaf blade. Of course, that does have the G10 handles versus the FRN. FRN on Spyderco doesn't bother me a bit. I believe this one come in at like 66 and a half, something like that on the Rockwell test, and I couldn't be happier. But this thing is sharp. It's Nick's taking very good care of it, and I'm not the best at flipping this one. none of these lightweight FRNs tend to have like the smoothest action for me. Your mileage may vary. I can get it to come out, it's just not effortless. But I'm not a huge fan of the teal, or what is that, turquoise, teal? Like, it's not really teal, is it? It's darker than teal. I'm not sure what color they call that. If you know, let me know in the comments. But I'm not not crazy about the color myself. I'll probably be doing something else with this knife. I definitely think it's a keeper. And I told Courtney, I was like, be about perfect size for you if you wanna carry it. And she just looked at me like and shook her head without saying anything. That's okay. I'll carry it. I'll use it. I know a good knife when I see it. All right. Pair of 3, low Temperance. I believe the next one is going to belong to my brother, and that is the Manix lightweight. Interesting. So they don't put in most FRN knives, they put the model number or the model name on here. Like you can see, this is the low Temperance 3. Or you might not be able to see that. I don't know. There we go. You see it now. For size comparison. And it comes in just a tad bit bigger than the pair of 3. I mean, well, it's substantial, isn't it? It's a substantial difference. Michael likes this knife. He says he doesn't carry it very often, so he don't want to mess up the blade. And he likes the way the white looks. I told him I didn't think the FRN would stain that bad, but he's like, the dirt gets trapped into it. It's hard to get cleaned out. I can agree with that. But he just kind of like lets it sit in the box. Speaking of the box, like right here, exactly like it came to him, from GP Knives. All right, so next up, I'll tell you what I'll do, just to make sure I'm right. I will, Jesus, can't keep these things standing up. I'll leave the last model up on the board. This is the PM2, this specific PM2, the S90V. Have had my troubles with it. But out of all the Spydercos I've ever owned, say 25, 30, I don't know exactly, I don't have them all still, obviously. But this was the only one that I've ever had quality problems with out of what I feel like is the heat treat. I think it just could have been a little higher. This is debatable, but it don't hold an edge. However, it is the smoothest Spyderco that I own, and there's a reason, but I incorrectly assembled it back. So you're probably able to see that. Look at this space on this side. It's horrible. I didn't know that it had a D-shaped pivot, so when I took it apart to test the blade, I put it back together wrong. It's together, and the blade is centered. And there is a little bit of blade wobble. But like, nothing crazy, no lock failure or anything like that. So like, it's so smooth, I was like, man, I should probably just leave it alone. Just, man, maybe, it's probably because I'm half lazy. But anyway, I do like the knife. I like the color scheme. I like everything about it. The reason why I didn't send it in to Spyderco to get the blade replaced, and I think they'll do it, I'm pretty sure they would do it for me, is because it was a gift, and it's etched, and I've had this knife for 2 years, and I carried it yesterday. I still carry the knife every once in a while. It's not the fact that I won't pick it up and I won't use it and I won't carry it or anything like that. It's just for S90V, it doesn't hold an edge like it should, and that's really the bottom line. Up next, I can move this one to the side, because up next is the Rex 45 PM2, and it's dirty. Here I am, like, making fun of Courtney. This one did belong to my brother, and still technically does. If he changes his mind, then it'll still belong to him. But I believe we worked out a deal where I can acquire this one into my collection, and I couldn't be happier. I think the number on this one was 67 on the Rockwell test. I didn't mention a Rockwell test on the S90V because it was just kind of all over the place, man. I've had numbers pop up on that thing as low as 54 and as high as 65. So like, it's just kind of weird. And it's one of those videos that people are like, hey, something wrong with your machine. But like every other knife that we do, it's just not all over the place like that. But anyway, those 65s were in an odd area. I'll give them that. It was an area that was laser etched, and it wasn't flat. But this knife right here, possibly my favorite Spyderco that's ever come into existence. I would have never thought that I would have liked the copper scales as much as I have, but those copper scales add enough weight to this thing where it gets into my area of expertise. I was gonna say like wheelhouse. I don't really know what you would, my preference, I guess you would say. It's about 7 ounces. Let's throw the scale up there and just check that out. Probably maybe dust it off. Oh, this WD-40 on it. What did you do to it? Okay. Yeah, just wipe that off. Lots of overspray. Looks like there was some overspray from last time too when I was back here. And never did clean it off. Oh, test that way. I want to say it's 7, 7.5, something like that. 7.4. And we can see that the original PM2 G10 is 3.7. So almost twice the weight there. Not quite, but actually, yes, twice the weight. And that Rex 45 steel, I can't imagine anybody needing a more robust knife. It just feels the premiumness of this knife. I'm about to feel the premiumness of that edge. Got my finger off. But the premiumness of this knife, premiumness, it can't be a word, but that's what I'm using. I love, absolutely fucking love the feeling of this knife in hand. It's amazing. So that's the PM2. We're skipping the fixed blades, by the way, and we'll just save those to the end. But okay, this next one I've got to I've actually got to see. Okay, looks like it's the Endura first. This is an Endura in VG10. It has been tested. It comes in at 61 HRC. I don't know if I got the video up on that or not. I know I did with Jed's machine when we drove it over to Jed's house. That was a while back. But man, this thing right here, dude, is it's a user. You know what I'm saying? It is a Seki City knife, and it seems to be heat treated very well for VG10. It does hold an edge very well. I've got no complaints. These knives are very cheap or very affordable. How about that? No complaints. No complaints whatsoever. And where is it? Next to the PM2. Yeah, just a little bit longer, man. And so it's a very lightweight knife, and then you got the compound grind there, or a spear point grind. What, it looks like a 50% grind, maybe something like that. Half grind, whatever. But it's, yeah, there's nothing wrong with the Endura, man. Yeah, okay. Make sure I wasn't calling it the Endura, and it's really the Endula. Okay, so yeah, next will be that Manix. Marginally, it's just marginally. Like the overall length is probably beating it by 15th. I don't know, but regardless, the Manix 2 XL. This is an S30V, and it tested very well too. I can't remember what the number was, but it didn't test bad. I think it's 60, 61, something like that. And it did. Yeah, the video's up. I've got it matched with the a 940, a Benchmade 940. I'm not the hugest fan of the Manix XL. I know there's a lot of lovers out there, and I understand that. I can't manipulate it very well. I don't like this locking mechanism. Same applies really with the Manix. Lightweight, just the regular old Manix 2. If the Manix had a compression lock or liner lock or something different, then that would probably be my favorite Spyderco. I probably like it a little bit better than the PM2. But this one is a Golden Colorado knife. It is in G10. I like it, man. I do like it. There's not a Spyderco on the table that I hate. I just don't. There's some of them I like more than others. That's my God-given right. Okay. Next one's a new addition from Nick Edward. And that is the Military 2. And this will be my first Military 2. Or my first military period. I've never owned a Military 1. I'm not sure what all the differences are. I know there's a lot of people out there that know everything. I'm not trying to be, a smart ass. What I'm saying is, like, there's a lot of people out there that can tell you the difference between each military model. And I don't. I'm not the guy. But what I can tell you, this has got my card on it. I'm not sure. I'm like exactly crazy about this micarta, but it doesn't hurt my feelings either. At least it's something different than FRN, really, or G10. I'd prefer this over the G10 and the FRN, not for stability reasons, just it's just aesthetics. It feels okay in hand. There's nothing wrong with it. It feels great. It's there, man. It's a very present knife. Probably will do a video of this knife. Like just more thoughts about this knife. And then the next one that's coming up. But this is CRUWEAR. It's a USA made knife. And I believe it poked at 62.5 or 60. Oh, I'm sorry. It was 61.75 and 62. Something like that. I can't remember. But it does have a little bit of lock stick too. And what's crazy is if you like roll it open, there's no lock stick. So, it is because that's, or it would appear to me that it's because there's more pressure, inertia, like this lock's probably coming in further than it. Let's look at that. Let's look at that. Yeah, so maybe probably close to 50%. So you get the lock up, and there is a little bit of lock stick. You just barely roll it open. Let's see where she locks up at. Doesn't look too much different. Doesn't look too much different to me. So I don't know, but there's no click. So that's the Military 2 in CRUWEAR. Very excited to have it. May get, I don't know. It's funny because I'm not too crazy about these spoon clips on coated blades. Like so, with the Para 3, which that's an extremely long clip for this size of knife, if you ask me. But so I tend to go with something Lynch style. I don't know. I don't think this is a real Lynch clip. I think I got screwed on this one. And not a big deal. It works. But I thought I was buying a Lynch clip for like $25, and it didn't come in a box with a Doberman on it. So I believe I got screwed on this one. But when it's got a satin blade, uncoated, I really like the way that spoon clip looks when it's got the blade to match. Like when there's not so much, I don't know. It seems to fit more uniform, in my opinion. But that is the PM2 versus the Military 2, just in case you guys would like that size comparison. Some of you might appreciate that. And I was actually even thinking about doing a military family video. Of course, it would be incomplete because I don't have a Military 1. But the Military 2 is a substantially sized knife, man. I think that's a 4-inch blade, if I'm not mistaken. We can look at that real quick, or I will look at that real quick. So I will roll this leather up. You can look at it too. So every 2 squares is 1 inch. So 1, 2, 3, and that is going to be a little over 4-inch blade with a little less than 3 3/4 inch cutting edge. Make sure I'm right about that. I'm going to line it up with some numbers over here. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Your boy Billy did it right. Okay. What is next? Okay. Another one I got from Nick Edward. This is the Spyderco Police 4 in FRN. It's also in K390. So it's just barely bigger. And this will be the last folder. That one needs to be cleaned up a little bit too. I don't know what Courtney you got cutting with it, but yeah, we'll wipe that off while we're here. I have come to the, like, I knew when me and Nick did the trade that I wasn't going to need a military 2 and a police around. I've had a police before, and I did enjoy the knife. Don't get me wrong. And this one has got a 4.5-inch blade with a 4-inch cutting edge, so just a little bit more than that military. A little bit more handle and a little bit more blade, and Shane Gables has let it be known that he is interested in the Police 4. This one did have a very nice Rockwell at 65, I want to say. It's just a little bit less than the Temperance. I like the Police, but I don't see a point in both of these knives being in my collection. And this one fits better in hand. It's just how it is for me. It's got a little bit more of a slim handle on my right, and this one's got a little bit more robust and curved handle on my left. And with them being very similar priced, both of them some pretty premium steels. I don't know if both of them will stay. I'm not gonna get in a hurry to trade or sell, but what I'm saying is, like, one of them may leave. I don't know. I can't see it being this one, honestly. Like, even with the lock stick, it's just, it's not hard to close. It just makes a noise, and I'm not sure if that's dangerous or if that's something that'll wear in or if it'll get worse over time. I'm not really sure. I was kind of wondering. I was like, if you just roll it open and you don't have it, well, Spyderco will void the warranty if you Spydey flick it. But I mean, Jesus, it's a Spydey flick. It's a Spyderco. You can't void the warranty for using the Spydey hoe, can you? So surely not, right? Okay, what's next? That is all the folders, y'all. That is all the folders. So we have this Mule team and Rec 76. I love this knife. I need to get a video up, like a video on my machine in this series up of the Rockwell testing, and take the scales back off and just do the video. It's worth it. It's worth it to know where it's at. I think the T15, we made the handles on this one. Me and Courtney kind of shaped these out. These are Halpern titanium, and I ordered an additional set of Halpern titanium hardware whenever I ordered these scales here, and so that's what we used when we made this one. But as you can see, like, I run into them with the grinder, so it's a little ugly. We can't fit the things in there anymore to take this knife apart, and that's gonna be okay, I guess, like for this knife, but Courtney's like, I don't care if it ever comes apart. But man, dude, these aren't the prettiest scales in the world. Accidents were made. But I'm gonna go ahead and tell you, man, like, I am actually proud of how comfortable that knife is. Like, it really is. It's very comfortable. And I did model it after this, but I gave it, like, some relief here. And I guess I kind of brought both of these in together, kind of by accident. But I'm not sure if you'll be able to see that with all the color things. But there's a relief here for your finger. And there's a little bit more contouring going on. And it has this, even though it was done on a grinder, it has this, like, we sat here and shaped it out with a knife type of look to it, because I was in a hurry. But knife's not harmed or anything. It feels good. I did mimic the Halpern titanium style up here, just because I knew it would work, you know. So, well, you know, the Halpern titanium model was used whenever we made our own scales. Not to be thieves, we're not selling them, but anyway, you know, it was just an inspiration. It was something I could go by, but we didn't want to. We want to give a little bit more contouring, you know, if that makes any sense. But this is a Rex T15, and I think the use of this knife will absolutely speak volumes on how useful this knife has been for Courtney. And she does love her mule, you know, and she wants more mules to be able to tell the difference in the steels, because it's a wonderful idea. Both of these are made in Taiwan and heat treated in Taiwan. I believe that this number was 65, 66. The video is up, so don't quote me. But I want to say this one was just a little harder, like 67, 68, something like that. Regardless, both of these knives have been phenomenal. And mule teams, I can't suggest them enough. I really can't. I mean, they're out of all the Spydercos, this knife is probably my favorite. You know, no lie, this is probably my favorite Spyderco. But if I had to pick a folder, this one's king. It's the PM2 and Rex 45. I love this knife. Y'all, I know it's a long video, and I'm sorry about that, but it just kind of occurred to me after this trade. I was like, dude, we have more Spydercos than we have rest of our knives combined, probably. You know, like, I know I see people posting videos of their Spyderco collections or their Benchmade collections or whatever, and I don't have enough of any other one brand, you know, to be able to do that. And I don't have 1% of the Spyderco models. That's one thing about Spyderco, is they come out with a lot of models. But I felt like I had enough to be able to do a video on our collection. So I just kind of wanted to share it with you. I know you've seen all these knives before. There's nothing brand new to the table probably. But, you know, I mean, you may have just seen them in heat treat test or whatever. But that's our Spyderco collection. And there's a lot of damn good knives here, man. Even the bad ones are still good knives. Even the bad ones I'll still pick up and use. Like, and that's something that I wanna get across. It's like, even the bad Spydercos, like, I would rather listen to a bad Led Zeppelin song than a good Journey song. You know, that's just who I am. And say Led Zeppelin, you know, Spyderco was Led Zeppelin, then I think the same applies here. So even like the worst Spyderco that I have, I still love it. If that makes any sense, and it probably doesn't to a lot of you, and that's fine. But I'm, you know, there's soul that gets put into some knives, and you just don't want to fuck them up. You know, like you bring them a brand new blade, whatever, and it feels like the knife is losing a little bit of something, and it's stupid. You know, it's an inanimate object, so it's stupid, so it doesn't make any sense whatsoever. But I think this one comes packaged with soul. You know, like just that copper that, you know, it's going to patina, it's going to change colors over time, it's going to kind of match what you've done with it, without you having any direct input, unless you force something, and I haven't forced anything. So the numbers that are, I mean, the colors that you're seeing, if you're seeing any, like, I don't know if you can see, but there's a little bit of discoloration around here. And there's a whole lot of stuff going on inside. Mostly around that pocket clip. I'm not sure why. It could be blue jeans. I'm not really sure. I'm not sure why. But the knife is taking a patina. Michael has never, like, I don't think he ever carried it because he says it's too heavy. And that's all I needed to hear before I was like, hey, well, if it's too heavy, let me know what you want for it, because I want it. Man, this has been a long video, and I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry. These are my two winners here. I would say for the folder, and then this is going to be overall. Like, so this one even kind of still trumps this one. But for the folder, this is the king, in my opinion. Now, second runner-up, probably this little Temperance. I just like that knife, man. I don't like that pocket clip, not with that blade. That's a black pocket clip and a satin blade, and that doesn't make any sense whatsoever. But that's okay. Like, it's not a huge deal. will remedy that. But the little Temperance, I really can't wait to use this knife. I mean, look at that. Look at that. I mean, it's so lightweight that the pinch grip, you could like literally just hold it the you know, by the spidey hole, and maybe brace it. Maybe brace it like that, you know, and chop up what you got to chop up. There'll be some chives or whatever. I really just can't wait to carry this one. But as of right now, these are my kings. Or this is my king, my runner-up. And I think this is the jack that shows the most promise. You guys have a good one. We will catch you on the flip side.